Alone among aliens. The city was loud and full of strange lights. Ships flew above. Aliens of all shapes and sizes walked in the streets, buying and selling things. It smelled like metal, smoke, and rotten food. She stood in the middle of it all alone. She had no name anymore. Her people were gone. Her home was dust. She had only her clothes, and they were dirty and torn. No one looked at her. No one cared. Her skin was pale blue. Her hair was silver, long, and messy. She was cold and hungry. Her stomach hurt. Her feet were bleeding. She walked slowly, hoping someone would give her food. But this was Zarna Station, a place for thieves, traitors, and bounty hunters. No one helped the weak. A big alien bumped into her. "Move, trash," he said, pushing her down. She fell hard. Her hand scraped against the metal floor. She didn't cry. She hadn't cried in days. She stood up again and walked to a food stall. There was bread, old and hard, but food. She opened her hand and showed a small silver ring. It was her mother's, the last thing she owned. "I give you this," she said in a weak voice. "Please." "Just one bread." The alien shopkeeper looked at the ring, then at her. "Fine," he said. "Take the old one." She grabbed the bread and walked away, holding it like treasure. She sat behind a crate and ate fast. She hadn't eaten in 2 days, then it started to rain. Cold, acid rain. She had to leave. The next night, she was colder. She had nothing left to trade. Only her clothes. She walked into a dark alley. An old alien woman sat there. "I have food," the woman said. "You have clothes? Trade?" She hesitated. But hunger won. Minutes later, she walked away, wearing only a long, thin robe the woman gave her. She felt shame. But her stomach was full for one night. The next morning, she lay on the street, too weak to move. People passed by. No one stopped. Then. Someone did. Boots stood in front of her. Black, human-style boots. She looked up. A man. Human. He had short black hair, brown eyes, and a face with small scars. He wore a dark jacket and had a strange device on his arm. He looked down at her, his face unreadable. He knelt beside her. "Hey," he said, "you okay?" She didn't answer. He pulled a small bottle from his coat and gave her water. She drank it fast. He pulled out a food bar and handed it to her. She ate it like an animal. He said nothing for a while. Then he looked around like he was checking for danger. "Come on," he said finally. "This place will kill you." She tried to stand, but fell. He picked her up. She was too weak to fight, too tired to ask questions. Then everything went dark. When she opened her eyes, she was on a soft bed. Not warm, but not cold either. The walls were gray metal. A light above her blinked. The air smelled clean. She sat up fast, scared. Where was she? Then the door opened. The same human man walked in, holding a small tray of food. "You're awake," he said. "Good." He gave her the tray. She didn't take it. "What? Do you want?" she asked, her voice shaking. "Nothing," he said. "Just eat. Your skin and bones." "Why?" she asked. "Why help me?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Because I've seen too many like you. And I hate it." She ate slowly. The food was better than anything she had tasted in weeks. "Where am I?" she asked. "My ship," he said. "Name's Jax. I'm a human. A merc." "A what?" "Mercenary. I fight. I fly. I don't take orders." She looked down at her arms. Someone had cleaned her wounds and bandaged her hands. "Your name?" he asked. She didn't answer. "Okay," he said. "You don't have to tell me. But you're safe now." She didn't know what to believe. Was this mankind or just another liar? But for now, she had food. A bed, and a voice that spoke to her like she was alive, not trash. She closed her eyes. Maybe tomorrow. She would give him her name. Hum of the ship was low, like a gentle heartbeat under the floor. She sat on the small bed, wrapped in a clean gray blanket. For the first time in weeks, she felt warmth, not just in her body, but something softer, something safer. Captain Jax hadn't come back since he brought her food. She had eaten everything. Now she stared at the walls, thinking if she should escape. But escape to where? The last place she ran led her to starvation and shame. Suddenly, the door slid open with a soft hiss. Jack stepped in, holding something. That looked like a black cube with blinking lights. Translator, he said, holding it out. Universal language chip. You don't speak Terran well, I noticed. She took it with shaking hands. Her fingers brushed his. He didn't pull away. She placed the cube behind her ear. It buzzed for a moment, and then a soft female voice echoed in her head, speaking her language. Better? Jax asked. Yes, she said quietly. Thank you. He nodded, sitting across from her on a metal chair. He took off his jacket, revealing a shirt with small burns and a patch over his shoulder. You never told me your name, he said. She looked away. Her name felt like a piece of her past she didn't want to share. A name belonged to someone who had a home, a family. I don't remember it anymore, she lied. He didn't press her. Instead, he picked up a small datapad from the table and typed something. I scanned your wounds, he said. You had infection. I gave you meds. You're healing. Why help me? She asked again, voice sharper now. Jax leaned back. He looked tired, not from lack of sleep, but from life itself. I've seen too many like you, he said. Used, abandoned, sold. I don't like bullies. You're a mercenary. You kill people. I kill bad people, he replied. Big difference. She wasn't sure if she believed him, but the bed was real. The food was warm, and for now, that was enough. A silence passed between them. Not cold, not warm. Just quiet. Then he spoke. Again, you're not ordinary. I saw something glowing in your skin. Her eyes widened. Her hand moved to her side, where a soft light pulsed just under the skin, barely visible now. She stood up quickly. Don't touch me, she said. I didn't, he said calmly. I'm not here to hurt you, but I need to know what is it. She stared at him for a long time. Then slowly she spoke. It's a seed, she said. A living one. My people built it. It carries knowledge. Memories, power. What kind of power? I don't know all of it, but it's old. Very old. It speaks to me, sometimes. Jax didn't laugh. He didn't call her crazy. He just nodded slowly, like her words made sense. Others are looking for it. She added, They killed my family. My world, they took everything. Jax's jaw tightened. Slavers? She nodded. He stood and walked to the door. You should rest. This ship is safe. They won't find you here. But if they do, then I shoot first. Before he left, she asked, Why are you really helping me? He turned, eyes serious, because I know what it's like to have nothing. Later that night, the ship drifted through dark space. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The AI seed in her side pulsed again. A whisper entered her thoughts. He can be trusted. For now. She didn't know if that made her feel better or worse. The next morning, Jack showed her around the ship. It was small but fast, perfect for hiding. There was a cockpit with broken buttons and a coffee mug that read, Boom first, ask later. Showed her how to use the communication panel where the food supplies were and how to lock the doors. You trust me this much? She asked. No, he said, but I like to be fair. You're a guest, not a prisoner. As they sat for a simple meal, she asked, Do you have a crew? Had one. Long time ago. They're gone now. She looked at him, seeing something. Behind his eyes, a pain he didn't talk about. I'm sorry, she said. Yeah, he replied. Me too. Suddenly the ship beeped. A red light blinked on the control screen. Jocks jumped up and checked the display. Trouble? She asked, heart racing. Maybe, he said. Looks like a patrol ship, but it's scanning deep. She stood beside him, staring at the screen. Her heart pounded harder now. They're looking for me, she whispered. Jax grabbed the control. Stick. Then we disappear. The engines roared as the ship shot forward, turning sharply into an asteroid field. She held onto the wall, trying not to fall. Jax moved like a storm calm outside, fast inside. Outside the window, ships followed. Them. The chase had begun. The stars outside the window blurred into streaks as the ship flew faster than light. Inside, alarms flashed red and the engines roared like thunder. Captain Jax's hands moved quickly over the controls, his face calm but focused. They're still behind us, he said. Fast ships, not patrol. Bounty hunters. The girl gripped the back of the pilot's seat. They want the seed. Jax didn't ask how they found her. He only muttered, damn trackers, we need to shake them. The ship shook hard. A warning light blinked. Shields down to 20%. The ship's voice said, great. Jax said. He jerked the ship to the side, flying into a narrow gap between two burning asteroids. Fire and rocks flew past them. They'll catch us, she shouted. No, he said. Not today. She watched as he twisted the ship through deadly paths like he had done it 1,000 times. The engines groaned, metal panels rattled, and something sparked above her, but the ship stayed alive. Suddenly, a missile flew past the window. Too close, Jax said. Hold tight. He hit a button and the ship dropped fast, spinning into a gas cloud. The lights inside turned blue, then dark. Stealth mode, he whispered. The engines went silent. Only the sound of her breath filled the small space. Outside. The enemy ships flew by, scanning, but they didn't see them. Minutes passed. Then the danger was gone. Jax leaned back in the seat and sighed. That was fun. She sat on the floor, her legs shaking. How did you do that? He grinned slightly. I used to steal ships like theirs. I know all the tricks. You're not just a mercenary, she said. No, I'm worse, he replied, with a half smile. Later, in the quiet of the ship, they sat at the small table again. Her hands were still trembling. They'll keep coming, she said. They won't stop. I know, Jax said. But now I want to know why. She looked at him for a long time. Her voice dropped low. You remember the seed? He nodded. It's not just technology. It's alive. It holds a consciousness. A memory of my people, their voices, their knowledge, their power. Like an AI? More than that. It grows, it learns, it chooses. Jax leaned forward, curious. And it chose you? Yes, she said. When my planet fell, they placed it inside me. My mother said, you will carry our future. He stared at her, seeing her not as a scared girl, but something more. A spark, a symbol. You're the last one, he whispered. She nodded. That's why they hunt me. With the seed, they can control everything my people once guarded: energy, weapons, secrets. If they take it, it could end worlds. Jax stood and paced. That's a lot for one person to carry. I didn't choose it, she said. I just didn't die. He stopped. You're stronger than you think. She didn't answer. She didn't believe it. That night, as Jax repaired the ship's damaged systems, she stood alone near the window, looking at the stars. Her hand brushed over the soft glow at her side. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat inside her. Then, voice. You are not ready, but you will be. she gasped. What do you mean? But there was no answer. Just silence. She turned and Jocks was standing behind her, holding a small metal case. What's that? She asked. Something I was saving, he said. He opened it, revealing a small wrist device with buttons and a screen. It's a personal shield, he said. Old tech. Not perfect, but it might keep you alive next time. She looked at him, confused. Why give it to me? Because you're not just cargo anymore, he said. You're crew. Her throat tightened. Crew. The word felt warm. Thank you. She said that the next morning, the ship dropped out of light speed near a small, broken moon. The surface was gray, with ruins scattered like bones. What is this place? She asked. JAX answered, It's called Varix 9. Used to be a science post. Abandoned now. I heard rumors your people may have left something here. Her eyes widened. A memory core? Maybe. Worth checking. They landed. The air was thin, the silence deep. They stepped into the ruins, flashlights cutting through. The dust then. Something moved. A small spider-like drone jumped at them. Jocks blasted it with one shot. Guess someone doesn't want us here, he said. They moved deeper into the building. Broken screens, dead machines. Faded writing on the walls. Then she saw it. A glowing panel still alive. She touched it. The seed inside her pulsed. And the screen lit up. A face appeared. Her mother. A message left behind. If you're hearing this, it means you survived. Good. Now run faster. They're coming. Jocks and the girl looked at each other. She whispered, We're not alone. The screen faded to black. The message from her mother was over, but the words still echoed in her heart. Now run faster. They're coming. She stood in the center of the ruined lab, frozen, staring at the dusty glass where her mother's face had appeared. For a moment, she forgot Jocks was even there. She had waited so long to hear that voice again, even if it was only a recording. It felt like a dream, soft, warm, and already fading. Jocks stayed silent beside her, giving her space. He had learned not to ask too many questions when she went quiet like this. Some pain didn't need words. It just needed time. She touched the glowing panel one more time. Nothing happened. The energy was used up. This place, she whispered, was one of our last shelters. When the enemy came, we ran from city to city, system to system. My mother said this lab had memories, backup knowledge of our people. Jocks looked around the broken walls. Did they leave anything behind? She walked slowly through the ruins, stepping over broken metal parts and dust-covered data chips. Maybe, but not anything we can use. Still worth coming, Jocks said. She nodded. Yes, I remember now. I lived here once. Just for a few days. I was a child. There was music in the air, soft and bright. The walls used to shine with light. My mother would sing to me while she worked. Her voice cracked. She stopped speaking. Jocks knelt near a control panel, brushing off dust with his glove. He pulled out a small silver device, still intact. Looks like a memory shard, he said. Maybe your seed can read it. She took the shard carefully and held it close to her side. The AI inside her pulsed once, then again. Her eyes fluttered closed, and the world changed. She was standing on a balcony, looking out at twin suns. Below her, towers reached to the sky, glowing blue and gold. Children ran through the streets. Music filled the air. She could smell flowers sweet. Sharp, strange. Her people were alive. Then a shadow passed across the sky. A dark ship, huge, silent, hovered above. Screams, sirens. Lights turned red. And then, fire. The vision broke. She gasped, falling to her knees. Jocks caught her before she hit the floor. What happened? He asked. I saw it, she said, breathing hard. My home, before it fell. The eye inside me, it showed me. She clutched her chest. We were beautiful, alive, then everything was gone. Jocks helped her up gently. You're not just carrying history, you're carrying pain. She looked at him with wet eyes. Why do you stay, Jocks? Why not sell me to the highest bidder? You'd be rich. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, because I've done enough running. Enough selling. I see you, kid. You're not just cargo. You're hope. She looked down. I don't feel like hope. I feel like a broken thing. Jock stepped closer. You're not broken. You're surviving. There's a difference. Back on the ship, Jocks placed the shard in a small scanner and copied the data into the ship's systems. Old maps appeared on the screen, showing places she had never seen, hidden bases, vaults, even unknown planets. This, Jock said, pointing to one red-marked location, might be a refugee site. One of the last. Her heart skipped. There. Could be survivors? Maybe. It's far, dangerous space. I want to go, she said without hesitation. I figured, he replied. Plotting the course now. As the ship moved into light speed again, she sat in silence. The memory of her mother's voice still echoed in her mind. And something new stirred inside her, a need to fight back, not just run. Later that night, Jocks found her in the training room trying to lift a small energy staff. It's heavier than it looks, she said with a tired smile. He stepped in and showed her how to hold it. Your arms are too stiff. Relax your stance. She tried again. Better. Double quotes. Why do you want to fight? He asked. Because I don't want to be helpless anymore. He nodded. Good reason. But don't fight with anger. Fight with purpose. She trained until her arms ached. Then she collapsed, laughing for the first time in weeks. Jax smiled. In that moment, the ship felt less like a hiding place and more like a home. Outside, deep in the dark of space, a satellite blinked to life. It had tracked her signal, and it was sending a message. Subject found. Prepare to intercept. The stars ahead looked peaceful, but peace was always a lie in this part of space. Jax's ship moved silently toward the red-marked planet from the memory shard. It was small, surrounded by broken satellites and old wrecks like a graveyard. The name on the scanner said, Haven 9, but it didn't look like a haven at all. The girl stood behind Jocks in the cockpit, her arms crossed. She wore new clothes, now simple, strong, and better than the rags she once had. A small energy blade hung from her belt. She hadn't used it yet, but she was ready. Are you sure this is the place? She asked. It's what the shard says, Jocks replied. If there are survivors, they'll be hiding underground. She nodded, but something felt wrong. The seed inside her pulsed softly, like a warning. Still, she stayed silent. Hope had its price. They landed near the edge of a ruined city. Wind blew dust across metal streets. Buildings leaned like old bones, half buried in time. There were signs of life-fresh tracks, smoke from a far rooftop. We're not alone, Jock said, checking his blaster. Together, they moved through the ruins. She led the way now, the seed inside her guiding her like a compass. She could feel the echoes. Memories of her people burned into the walls. Then they saw it, a metal door hidden behind fallen stone. A scanner flickered to life as she stepped close. Gene match confirmed. Welcome, daughter of Vire. The door opened. Inside, the air was warmer. Lights came on, one by one, revealing a small underground base. Old tech blinked, and a soft hum filled the room. Someone kept this place alive, she whispered. Then voices echoed from the hallway. Figures stepped out armed, alert, but not shooting. One of them, tall and pale-skinned, stared at her with wide eyes. It's true, he sighed. She lives. There were only 8 survivors. Broken, tired, but alive. They brought her to a round chamber and sat her at the center. Some cried when they saw her. One called her light-bearer, but she didn't feel like a light. She looked at Jax, who stood near the wall, arms crossed. His eyes were sharp, always watching. Then one of the survivors stepped forward. He was older, with gray skin and a robotic arm. "My name is Malin," he said. "I was part of your mother's guard. I failed to protect her. But I will protect you now." She felt something twist in her chest. It was hard to believe anyone was loyal after all that had happened. But she nodded. "I need to know what happened." "Here," she said. Malin showed her a map, pointing to red zones. After the fall, many fled. Some tried to rebuild. Others betrayed us. The seed you carry? It holds the code to reawaken the ancient core. With it, we can build again. She looked down. "I don't even know how to use it." "You will," he said. "It chose you for a reason." Hours passed. Jock stayed quiet, watching from the shadows. He didn't like the way Malin looked at her. Too much interest. Too much control. That night, as the girl slept, Jox moved quietly through the base. He opened locked doors, searched old files. And then he found a secret transmission sent just before they arrived. The message read, "Subject is here. Prepare the buyer. The seed will be yours." Signed, Malin. Jox's blood went cold. He rushed back to her room, but it was too late. She was gone. She woke up in a chamber filled with lights. Her arms were bound, soft cuffs around her wrists. Malin stood nearby, tapping a control panel. "Why?" she asked, anger in her voice. "I'm sorry," he said, but his eyes showed no guilt. "We need the seed. You are just the vessel. You lead to me. I served your mother. But this galaxy eats the weak. We sell the seed, we buy safety." She struggled against the cuffs. "You'll destroy everything she died to protect." Malin stepped closer. "It's just survival, child." Suddenly, the lights exploded. Smoke filled the room. A blaster fired twice. Jock stepped through the smoke, eyes burning with rage. "You picked the wrong girl to sell," he growled. He shot the guards, fast and clean. Malin reached for his weapon, but the girl kicked forward, slamming him into the wall with surprising strength. The seed inside her glowed bright blue, burning through her cuffs. "I'm not your prisoner," she said. She raised her hand. The seed responded. A burst of energy exploded from her palm, blinding and hot. Malin screamed and collapsed. She stood there, glowing. Breathing hard. Alive. They escaped through a broken tunnel. The base shook behind them as old reactors failed. The survivors tried to follow, but she didn't look back. On the ship, Jack set course away from Haven-9. She sat quietly, staring at her hands. They still shimmered with energy. "You blasted him," Jack said, sitting beside her. "That wasn't tech. That was you." "I didn't know I could do that," she whispered. "You can," he said, "and next time, you'll do more." She looked at him. "Why did you come for me?" He shrugged. "Crew sticks together." Long silence passed. Then she asked, "What happens now?" Jock smiled slightly. "Now, we fight back." The girl stood in the center of the ship's training room, eyes closed, hands glowing softly in the dim light. The seed inside her was awake now, really awake. It hummed under her skin, not like a machine, but like a heartbeat. It felt like something alive was growing inside her, something ancient and powerful. And waiting. Jax stood off to the side, arms folded, watching her. It had been 3 days since they escaped Haven-9. She hadn't spoken much. She hadn't needed to. She was changing. Faster reflexes, sharper senses. Her voice was stronger, her fear almost gone. She opened her eyes and looked at Jox. Again. He nodded, tossing her a metal staff. She caught it midair, spun it once, and faced him. He stepped forward with his usual calm, but this time he didn't go easy. They trained for hours, their weapons clashing under the low hum of the engine. She didn't win, but she didn't lose either. And she didn't stop. Finally, Jox held up a hand. That's enough for now. She lowered the staff, sweat on her forehead, but her breathing steady. I don't want to be strong just for me, she said. I want to protect others, the way no one protected my people. Jox nodded. Then it's time you saw what you're truly up against. In the control room, Jox pulled up a star map. A red symbol blinked near the edge of human space. Slaver. Fleets, he said. Not random attacks anymore. They're organized, coordinated. Someone's backing them. She stared at the blinking lights. How many systems have they taken? Too many, and they're heading toward Earth next. Her face tightened. And humans don't know? They know, he said. They just don't believe it's serious, or they're too busy fighting each other to see the bigger threat. Then we'll show them. Jox raised an eyebrow. We? She turned to him. I've run long enough. My people are gone, but their strength is inside me now. I have their memories, their knowledge. And if I die without using it, then what's the point of surviving? He watched her for a moment, then gave a slow, approving nod. All right, Commander. What's the plan? The next few days passed like a storm. She studied maps. She read the ship's history logs, old war reports, slaver tactics. The seed inside her helped, whispering lost knowledge from her people battle strategies, ancient science, defensive codes once used to protect entire worlds. She wasn't just learning. She was leading. Jax gathered old contacts, pirates, smugglers, a few honest soldiers turned mercenaries. Not many, but enough to make a difference. They met on a small asteroid station, hidden from scanners. When the crew gathered, they looked at her with confusion. Some laughed when she stepped forward, too young, too small. Then she spoke. Am the last daughter of Vire, she said. You may not know my world. That's because it was erased, burned to ash by the same slavers coming for yours. Silence. They think I'm a victim. I'm not. I'm a witness. And I'm a warning. If we don't fight, we lose everything. Not just lives, not just homes. We lose who we are. She stepped back. Jox looked at the group. Still laughing? He asked. No one was. They agreed to follow her. Not because of her power, but because of her purpose. As they prepared for war, the girl walked alone to the viewing deck. Space stretched out before her, black and wide, full of danger but no longer empty. Jax joined her. You did good, he said. I'm scared, she admitted. Good. That means you're not crazy. She looked at him. Do you ever get tired? Of fighting? All the time, he said. But sometimes fighting is the only way to stop running. She smiled softly. Thank you for not selling me. He laughed. It crossed my mind. But you'd probably blast me now. Maybe, she said with a smirk. A pause. Do you think we'll win? She asked. Jax didn't answer right away. Then he looked at her and said, We already started. Winning the moment you stopped hiding. They left that night, engines roaring, hearts steady, a small fleet behind them. Not large, not perfect, but full of people with something to fight for. Her voice echoed through the comms. This isn't about revenge. It's about resistance. If we stand together, human, alien, old, broken, we don't just survive. We rise. The fleet jumped into light speed toward the largest slaver base on the edge of known space. Behind them, fear. Ahead of them, fire. And in her heart, something new. Hope. The fleet dropped out of light speed at the edge of the darkness. Before them floated a massive slaver fortress, black metal, shaped like a broken crown, surrounded by battleships and patrol drones. It was a fortress not meant to defend life, but to crush it. Deep inside, prisoners cried out. Engines of war hummed. Lives were traded like currency. And approaching it, small but burning with purpose, was her fleet. Not an army. A handful of ships held together by faith, fear, and fire. She stood at the command console, staring at the enemy through the ship's main screen. The stars around her looked still, but the world was about to explode. "This is it," she said. "They won't run, neither will we." Jock sat beside her, one hand on the weapon system. "They outnumber us 20-1. She didn't blink. "Then we hit them first." The fleet moved. Their ships flew low and fast, dodging fire, striking quick. Old pirate fighters, salvaged warcrafts, even cargo haulers with hidden cannons, all now part of her rebellion. Explosions lit the sky. Pieces of metal flew like rain. Her voice came through every channel. "Hit the control towers. Block their communications. Free the cells if you can. We don't need to win in numbers. We win by breaking their chains." They responded not just with weapons, but with courage. Jocks fired at a battleship's core, sending it spinning into one of its allies. A former bounty hunter hacked into the slavers' defense grid. A small alien girl, no older than 10, dropped a beacon that called in hidden drones from a nearby moon. And at the center of it all, she stood calm, eyes focused, heart steady. Then came the moment she feared, a transmission, Lightbearer. The voice was cold, familiar. "I know who you are. And I have something that belongs to you." The screen changed, a prison chamber. Inside, a child blue-skinned like her, crying. Scared, her eyes widened. There were others. Jocks looked at her. "They're using it to pull you in." "I'm going anyway," she said. "You don't have to." "I do?" She took a small shuttle and flew straight into the heart of the enemy ship. Alone. The others tried to stop her, but she had made her choice. Her ship took fire but didn't fall. Shields dropped, sparks flew. But she made it through. She landed hard, kicked open the door, and stepped out blazing with light. The seed inside her had awoken fully. Her feet barely touched the floor. Her voice echoed with the sound of ancient power. Slavers came at her armed and shouting. She raised her hand. Light burst out. Walls shook. Metal bent. Guns melted. She wasn't just fighting back, she was a storm. She reached the core chamber where the leader waited. He was tall, half machine. His face a mask of silver and scars. "You came?" he said, stepping back from the child. "Brave or foolish?" "I came to finish what you started," she said, her voice like fire. He tried to strike her with a weapon powered by stolen tech, maybe even parts of her people's lost designs. But the seed inside her responded. It blocked the hit with pure energy. She charged forward not just with power, but with memory. She remembered the screams. She remembered the silence that followed, and she remembered her mother's last words. Run faster. Survive. But now she didn't run. She fought, with a cry. She released all the energy inside her. It shot through the floor, through the walls, through the entire ship, overloading systems, unlocking doors, disabling weapons, freeing prisoners. The slaver leader screamed but was already falling apart, unable to hold the raw force she had become. She caught the child before the ceiling collapsed. JX found her in the wreckage minutes later, carrying the child, glowing like a star, dimming slowly. "Okay?" he asked. She nodded. "I did what I had to." The child looked up at her. "Are you my sister?" She didn't know the answer, but she smiled. "I am now." Weeks later, in a free zone once controlled by slavers, a new station opened. A place where humans, aliens, and survivors came together, not just to survive, but to rebuild. She stood on a platform, giving a speech. "I had nothing once," she said. "Not even a name. I traded my clothes for food. I begged for life. But someone a human chose to see me, not as cargo. Not as profit, but as a person. She looked at Jax, who stood nearby with his arms crossed and that same calm smile. I carry a seed inside me. It holds knowledge, yes. But it also holds a message. She looked out at the crowd, some broken, some scared, but all listening. That message is simple. We are not weak. We are not forgotten. And we are not alone. The crowd stood in silence for a moment. Then came the sound, clapping, then more, until the entire station echoed with it. Later that night, she stood at the window, watching stars move slowly across the dark. Jax joined her. You did it, he said. No. She said, we did. He looked at her. What now? She smiled, her voice quiet but sure. Now. We begin.